There's like 9 square feet of air-conditioned space in there. It's pretty nice.
A sailboat in the moonlight and June. Wouldn't that be heaven? Oh, heaven just for two. A soft breeze on a June night and June. What a perfect setting for letting dreams come true.
Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to college joys, we sail at break of day. Through our last island shore, drink to the foam until we meet once more. Here's wishing you a happy voyage home.
Well, we're on our way to Eleuthera, and something interesting I wanted to show you. We are just now heading into the Atlantic. We're sitting on 30 feet of water, and the sun is just starting to come up. It's just peeking through the clouds here. Here, you can see it there. See that? Beautiful sunrise. But in 30 feet of water, I can still see the bottom. Well, we left Warderick Wells this morning quite early, 7 a.m. and we've arrived in Eleuthera, the Island of Eleuthera. Deb's on the bow right now, just watching out for coral heads, and there are a lot of them in here. The chart looks like it's got a bad case of acne.
There's like 9 square feet of air-conditioned space in there. It's pretty nice.
So there are 3 things that cruisers have to deal with. One is lack of air conditioning, so that's what we're dealing with here. But there's an ATM in here, and one thing you will discover when you're cruising is that ATMs don't always work. In fact, grocery store Interac machines typically don't work either. So have some cash with you, and have several debit cards from different banks or from different accounts, because when one doesn't work, the other might. The third thing, I did say there were 3. The third thing that you have to deal with when you're cruising is getting groceries. So we've got this little cart here, and I've got a bag over my shoulder, and I got a bag on my back, and loaded down like a pack mule, but that's what you got to do. So. And now it's time for a segment we like to call Cool Boats We Like. We're here with Ken Jackson on Southern Journey. Ken, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us. Welcome to Cool Boats We Like. Ken, what can you tell us about your boat? What kind of boat is this?
Well, it's Shannon 28, had it for 20 odd years, and it seems to have put up with me for that long.
Yeah. Well, I said as I got on board that the boat feels and looks really burly for a 28-footer. It's nothing like any other 28 I've ever seen. What was the philosophy that they built these under?
I don't think that money concerned them, and I don't think that weight concerned them. They simply built it as well as they could.
Yeah, so they didn't skimp at all?
Not at all.
On anything?
Nothing.
Yeah, we did look online, and the Shannon 28s are probably one of the more expensive 28-foot sailboats you can buy. I think that's reflected in the build quality, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a fairly heavy little boat for its size.
What's the weight of it?
Theoretically about 11 to 12,000, and then of course you add a couple of thousand pounds of cruising gear, and you're getting up there a bit.
So to put that in perspective, Windover, our sailing boat, its displacement weight is about 9,500 pounds. So this 28-footer is actually heavier than our 32 by 3,000, by a third.
Probably so.
Isn't that something? Eh?
Yeah.
Wow. So you say you've owned her for 20 years.
20 odd years.
Yeah, and so how many miles have you put on her? Any idea?
Oh, you know, I've never bothered to count. I know last year I put on about 6,000 or 7,000, I think.
So 12,000 miles wouldn't be,
or
120,000 miles, sorry.
It may be getting around the 100,000, but
wow.
I'd have to add it up a little.
Isn't that something? So I can't think of a handful of boats I've ever been on that have done that many miles.
Well, it's put up with my idiosyncrasies so far.
Yeah. Now we did have a talk earlier today about where you've been with her, but maybe you want to just recap, sort of top to bottom, where you've taken her.
Oh, south to the Caribbean some, and then Bermuda, I think about 4 times now.
Wow.
And last year, Nova Scotia for the 3rd time.
Yeah.
Cape Breton and Newfoundland last year, and
beautiful.
Maine, particularly Penobscot Bay, a number of times.
Yeah, very nice. So you've owned this boat for 20 years. Have you owned any other boats at all, or?
Not that many, and they're actually smaller than this one.
Yeah. So you basically gone out and bought the exact boat you want, and burned it up.
Well, I kind of fell into it. It sort of proved that way, I guess.
Yeah. Now, Shannons are touted to be some of the most beautiful things ever built. What can you tell us about the build quality? What kind of unique things do you see in this boat that you don't see in others?
Well, it's a true cutter rig on a 28-foot boat, which I prefer. I think the weight speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I mean, they just pour in the wood, the fiberglass, the workmanship.
So what is a true cutter rig? What, you mean the mast is placed?
Mast is stepped further aft, I think, than you would find on a regular sloop.
So the fore triangle's a little bigger then?
It is, yeah. My 100% jib would probably be the equivalent of maybe 120 perhaps on Windover.
Yeah, wow. Now this is a real bachelor boat, I gotta say. So many people who are filming boats will find boats that are spit and polished, and somebody's wife has spent a month and a half cleaning the counter before the cameras arrive. Now this boat is not that kind of boat.
Absolutely not. No, there's the only varnish on it is the tiller. I prefer gray for teak.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a bachelor.
There's a certain kind of beauty in that, though, isn't there? Like what we're looking at is a real working man's boat, you know?
Well, when you're as lazy as I am, you don't have to. You've got a choice, I think. Either you can varnish or get married, and
yeah.
Well, actually, I did neither. So.
Yeah, well, there you go. It is like a tiny 38.
It was based on the 28, the 38.
Yeah. It's very, very similar. Like the non-skid pattern is exactly the same. So if any of you are in doubt, Ken just gave me this little piece of fiberglass to show, and look at the thickness of that build. Well, listen, it's been really fantastic meeting you, Ken, and we've had a great time visiting, and we hope you carry on, and we'll meet you out there on the water somewhere again.
Well, thanks for the chat.
And a bachelor's head.
Indeed.
I don't think I'd get my wife into a boat like this, Ken.
It is not a woman's boat.
No, it's not.
No.
But it's beautiful, man. Where are we going today?
Today we're in Rock Sound and we're going to the Blue Hole.
Cool. Where are we going today?
Oh, we're going to the blowhole. It's not the blowhole, it's the blue hole.
It's some kind of hole.
Okay, try it again. Louise.
Where are we going today?
Today we're going to the blue hole. Let's try that again. Okay.
She has to say it 3 times. Just a second. Where are we going today?
Today we're in...
Rock Sound.
Shit, okay, take 4.
Call it 4 times. Where are we going today?
Today we're in Rock Sound and we're going to go check out their blue hole. Okay,
5 times. Where are we going today?
Today we're in Rock Sound and we're going to check out the blue hole, and it's just a hole with lots of water in it, I guess.
And we're going to go swimming.
Take 6. I don't like that.
Talk to me.